Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Manani Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai. Shoda Damodar Ki Jai. Jai Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, the devotees. Welcome to our Sunday program. Also welcome to all our guests, of course. So nice that you're here with us. Thank you very much to Mathur Kishore Prabhu, Vishaka Mataji, Shyam Kinkar Prabhu for the wonderful bhajan. Right now, we will continue with our program. Maybe if you can turn on the lights a little bit. It's a little dark in here. Gibt es jemand, der kein Englisch versteht? Dann können wir ja auf Englisch machen, auch wenn unser Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu nicht so ein Freund ist davon, dass wir alles immer auf Englisch machen. Aber oh, okay. Then the other way around, yeah, the other way around. Anybody who doesn't understand any German? Wäre mal Zeit, ne? But I think it's easier if you can speak in English. Yeah, is it okay for you? Okay. But we will of course have a German translation also. If anybody needs, we will have one. But yeah, we would like to ask. Okay. We would like to ask Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu to sit here on this nice seat. The Hare Krishna fancy chair, as Ridananda Maharaj calls it.
Deutsch besser passt.
Yeah.
Du willst Deutsch besser finden?
Ja,
ich auch. Ich will auch Deutsch besser.
Okay, we will not break a fight now, just for keeping the peace. We'll continue in English for today, but we can put it up for discussion. But yeah, we're very happy that Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu is with us. He will speak today on the topic of material and spiritual consciousness. And Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu, just a little bit about himself, that we know who he is. He's born and raised in Germany and came to Krishna Consciousness in 1987. And he joined full-time, dedicated his life as a brahmachari, as a monk in the temple for 7 years, traveled a lot, distributed many books, and then became a householder, was also temple president in Weimar at that time. And he's a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Bhushan Swami Maharaj. I got to know yesterday he's one of the 2 first disciples in Europe. And for the past 30 years, he's been serving Maharaj very intimately as well. And also, he's very well known for his prasadam distribution efforts. He's been one of the first devotees to really take this up, to give prasadam in a grander way, in a bigger way to many people, in the form of caterings. And so he's been doing that very successfully. And in recent years, he's also been more on the administrative side of ISKCON, meaning supporting the GBCs, the local leaders of the German speaking countries, especially in Germany, when it comes to managing the greater society of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we're very glad that you're here with us today once more. And if I can just ask everybody to come a little closer, make this a little bit more intimate, and also if there's guests coming later, we can give them some space.
Somebody the first time here? You're the first time.
Ignacio, bienvenidos. So, gibt es jemanden, der eine Übersetzung gerne hätte, vom Englischen ins Deutsche? Okay. So then, without further ado, I would like to hand over to you, Vrajendra Kumar. Thank you.
Okay. Then let's have a little song. Song text is there. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jannavalapa Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Jannavalapa Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajendra Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajendra Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavalapa Girivadadari Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gopimanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Yeah, welcome to this transcendental afternoon in the Zurich temple. Hare Krishna. Yes, the topic is to understand what is a material life and what is a spiritual life. So we have a body. No? We are not this body, but we have a body. So we have to do with this body, with the needs, and with our thoughts and our desires to deal in this world. And everybody knows this is not forever, it's temporary. But simultaneously, everybody can feel, I don't want to die, I want to live. So we have our real nature is eternal. But somehow it is hard to remember this. So this is the topic of the day. I'm reading a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, the perfection of renunciation. Machita sarvadogani mat prasada tarishyasi atachetvam ahankaram na shrosyasi vinangshyasi. If you become conscious, is this okay so with the Inferno? Come on here. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such conscious, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Purport. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily conception of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna conscious, he is liberated, free from the material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act, because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. Machita sarvadurgani mat prasada tarishyasi atachetvam ahankaran na shroyasi vinangshasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such conscious, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jananjaya Shalakaya Chakshur Militanyenas Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastavutare Srimad Bhakti Bhushan Swami Tinamani Prabhupada Samandaya Savatta Gauri Ki Paraya Satya So who is speaking here? If you become conscious of me.
Krishna.
Yes. Everybody of you knows it. Huh? Who is Krishna? Yeah, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, who else can tell us such a thing? I never found a person in my lifetime who can promise such a thing. So that's in the German, how to say, in Western worlds, if you want to understand something, you make a word analysis. Ne? Wie sagt man in Deutschland, sagt man Sprachanalyse. This is the method of the philosophers in universities. To find out what is to be meant in a text. Who is the speaker, what is the subject, and so on. That is a common method. But unfortunately, on universities, they don't accept God. They said, okay, we will investigate in every subject matter, but not in God. Maybe in one sense it is good, but because they don't know. No, it's not their business. Their business is to indulge in material affairs. And everything in material affairs, what has to do with the body, that is called false ego. So why it is called false? Because it is temporary. Bhagavad Gita is a subject which deals with eternity. And everybody knows my body is temporary. Everybody knows, can remember his childhood, his youth, now in age, then comes old age, disease, and death. These are the process. Nobody can escape. It's not possible for nobody. But nobody wants to die. Also natural. Because why? Because it is to be in a body is not our real nature. This is a temporary thing. We are captivated in this body according to our desires. We have desires to enjoy this world. We have desires to be happy, to become rich or wealthy or famous or so. All these qualities in full expansions are qualities of the Lord. Krishna is eternal. Krishna can remember everything, all his births and so on. But we can only remember this birth. We cannot remember all the pastimes which we had already in this lifetime. So our consciousness is somehow relative. Krishna consciousness is absolute. Because he never changed his body. He is always in his eternal body. Krishna is eternal. He is the Supreme. And we are part and parcels. In the 15th chapter he says, Mamaivang so jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. The living entity is my eternal part and parcels. But due to their misfortune, they are struggling very hard in the material body during their lifetimes. So that is not needed. That happens because we have desires to be separated from him. But somehow we have got contact with this sublime philosophy, the philosophy of the Veda, Vedanta. Veda means knowledge and Anta means end. So the Vedanta is the end of knowledge, the end of material knowledge, and the beginning of an eternal spiritual knowledge. If we are focusing our mind only on material affairs, we are getting more and more captivated by the point, because our consciousness is pointed, and you can investigate material topics only if you are spotting it with your consciousness. That is material. Nowadays it is so that every discipline is more or less separated. There's no, how to say, like Humboldt oder so, es gibt keine Universalgelehrten mehr in der heutigen Welt, ne? Sondern wir sind alle mehr oder weniger, ich will nicht sagen Idioten, aber fachspezifische Wissenschaftler. So, ne? Weil wir können kaum noch, this hardly to see over our plate, what is on the next plate to do. But Krishna Consciousness is the opposite, but because Krishna Consciousness is giving us our identity. The spiritual consciousness, a material consciousness, is not dealing with our identity. It is dealing with topics, with intellectual topics on spirit, on material things. And this is but we are eternal, we are spiritual spark of the Supreme. So therefore, if we are looking on the material, we somehow, our consciousness becomes isolated. And we are dividing from our eternal nature, and by arousing this, we are coming in fear. It is even a child. We have a child amongst us, so he is in his natural environment with his parents, and there he feels very comfortable. But if he is going out of this association, he becomes fearful because he doesn't know the situation out of this. And that is our great misfortune in the material world, because we are so much unconsciousness what is going on out there. We cannot even look in the hearts of others. It's hardly to look in the minds of others. No? We are always mostly isolated in our own thoughts, in our own feelings, and everybody knows I have only a certain time to live. So this is fear. But Krishna says, don't be fearful. Surrender to me. Come to your original consciousness, to your eternal consciousness. And then you can act freely, because you are acting in knowledge, in spiritual knowledge. And then it doesn't matter that your body is temporary, because this is the nature. We cannot change the nature, we cannot change the universe. This happens, all these turnarounds and so on of the planets and so. And always there is birth, and always there is death in the material world. That's a natural process, because of material desires. There is one famous verse in the 10th canto where the Lord by himself thinks about the situation. And he says, the verse is nice. Janu vai loka etasmin avidya kama kama bi ucha vacha sugatishu navida svam gatim brahma. So Krishna thinks, he is thinking. As is so in this world, I have to translate it from German in English, that the persons are traveling to higher and lower destinations. This is so because they want to do so, because they have desires for it. And that is based on their incomplete knowledge. So that means the persons don't know about the real destination. Everybody is imagine a situation, or maybe it would be good to do such a thing, to learn such a profession, or to live in such a country. So many people in the world think, it is nice to live in Switzerland, because this is a rich country. Everybody is more or less happy, has enough to eat, is wealthy to a certain degree, and so on. But that's not all, because also in Switzerland the people have to die. So this we cannot solve. So how to find out what is God? There is a technique I think it is very common in the Buddhist philosophy. That means to be aware, Achtsamkeit. It's a common thing. So this Achtsamkeit, the word comes from Pali. It means sati, and it means to remember. Or in Germany we say to sich entsinnen. No? Entsinnen has also, that means, is a nice definition, because it means to become free from the impression of the senses. That means, so how you can find out things free from the impression of the senses. That means you have to go deeper. You have to ask questions about a deeper, another identity. So what we can get from the material perception, material identification. This is in the moment we have good. We have lust. No? We enjoy. We have lusty desires. We enjoy the lust, and then we get a satisfaction. And afterwards there is an emptiness, and we have to, like to have it again. Punak puna charvita charvitanava. That is always to digest those things which are already digested, and to try another, to have another try. That is material. But spiritual identity is opposite. That is anandam buddhivadanam. That means if you have a spiritual identity and an indulgence in spiritual activities, you feel ananda. Ananda is not a satisfaction on the surface. Ananda is a satisfaction from within, the satisfaction of your soul. And Buddhi means intelligence. If you indulge in such topics, your intelligence is increasing. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "From me are coming remembrance and forgetfulness." So sometimes we can things remember, and other times we cannot, and we try and we cannot. So, but if we are going in our midst, in our inner self, the things become very easy. So what gives us satisfaction is not the, wie sagt man in Germany, das Stoffliche. It's not the substance. It is not the, how to say, das Stoffliche. What is stofflich in English? Feinstofflich, grobstofflich? Gross and material things. Huh? Fine and
Subtle and gross.
Subtle and gross. Yes. So therefore, if we make this kind of experience in be awareness experience about God, so we have to ask questions. What is Krishna consciousness? What does it mean to be God consciousness? And if God is there, where He is present? And who is God? So I think nobody of you have met a person who told him he is God. No? Sometimes it happens that somebody is coming to this conclusion, but that is more or less, how to say, funny, no? To meet such a person. So I got an experience to find it out when I wrote these books. And here also we find it, if you make it an analysis of who is speaking, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles of conditioned life. Later on he says, give up all kind of opinions, of religions, and surrender unto me. I will protect you from the results of your dealings. Don't be fearful. So these are very strong words. And I came to the conclusion, nobody expect him can promise me this. He is the only one. So, and if I have understood this, I came to this conclusion, then I must surrender. But mostly we are surrender only if we are in danger, if we are in a fearful situation. So if we are in a funny situation, if we are young and funny and life is so nice, so it's hard. It's not so common to surrender then. But if we are coming to a fearful situation, maybe if we did something wrong, or if we become a disease or so, or there's somebody is died in our nearly association, so then somehow we have the chance to awaken from the temporary material consciousness and go in a deeper space of existence. So one of my questions which I asked today for me was, is it possible to live a life without fear? What do you think? Yes, no? Because we as devotees, we already has experience, many experience about this, that it is possible. And the other question is, do we need a guru? Do we need a teacher? I say definitely yes. No? Sometimes I was doing catering on different festivals, and I made a certain festival, and they were young men, and they made an advertisement on the board, and said, guru-free teachings. This is a contradiction. This is a contradiction by itself. No? This is not possible. A guru is a teacher, so everybody needs teachings. No? If we are young kids and just burn, how should we learn? No? We need examples. And later on in school we need teachers, and later on we need professors and so on. So gurus are always needed, especially in spiritual topics. Because spiritual topics we cannot so easily perceive with our senses. There must be an inner trust. I say, to say it with Kant's words in a philosophical way, we need a good will. So if we have a good will in our heart, the things become very easy to understand. But if we are reluctant, and if we are always dealing with our own mind and in the terms of our ego, the things become so difficult. Then we cannot accept what others say. I think it is very easy to go through this world, if one has the time to do so, and just open the ears and hear. And I think you will get the information what you need. They will come to you if you ask the questions. That is the impetus of this literature, of the Vedic literature, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now you have the instrument, a material body, who is a yantra, is a machine for blood and flesh, and you have the required software for this. And the required software is our mind. So you can perceive things with your senses, and you can analyze it with this famous software, the mind. So you can understand. By this, intelligence is arising. Differentiation is possible. You can estimate what are this and what are this. So, and if you have a little bit goodwill and a little bit fortune, you can come to a higher consciousness. Broad-minded. There's a famous verse in the Vedas, akama sava kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrina bhakti yogina yayitam purusham param. And there's if you're full of material desires or have no material desires, inquire for the highest goal. But this is only possible, there is a definition, Udaradi. Udaradi means broad-minded. Open your heart, open your mind, be open for good knowledge. And accept it and use it. Make an experience. So unfortunately, we are born 5,000 years later than Krishna was on the planet. So we cannot meet him personally. But he is present. He is present on this planet in his holy name, in the Hare Krishna mantra. No? He gave us his name, and his name is not different from him, because he is the sub and substance of everything. He is the life of everybody. And Lord Chaitanya was here 500 years ago as a hidden incarnation of Krishna, as the Jana avatar. He invited the chanting of the holy name to take shelter in the holy name of the Lord. So, and he is present in the Hare Krishna movement. He is the inaugurator of the Hare Krishna movement. And another person is still present on the planet. Also, he has already left the planet. That is Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is present in his ISKCON, in the society, what she has invented. So, and he gave us such wonderful, amazing thing like deity worship, to worship the Lord with all good things, with a loving heart, and the result is shining, effulgence, pure effulgence, pure goodness. And is stunning the mind, is captivating our inner self. That's a great miracle for me. I don't know how you perceive it. So for me it is stunning. So we are everybody wants to enjoy the world. That's naturally. So everybody has the right to enjoy the world. But if we enjoy the world in our isolated, egoistic consciousness, we will fail, because we will never get satisfied by it. But if we enjoy the world in an association of devotee to please the Lord, we become happy forever. That is the difference between material and spiritual consciousness. I always was eager to leave my isolated ego, but I could not find how. It was not possible. I felt imprisoned in this body very early in my childhood, but I could not find how to come out. So I never was out of this body consciousness, but nowadays I feel satisfied in my body, with my body. I know it is only for a time. If the body feels good, it is nice. If the body is sick, it is a little bit harder. But my inner consciousness is okay. Now, sometimes the people are asking me, when I meet people which I doesn't meet for a long time, and people are always asking, "How are you?" I says, "Nice." I always feel nice, even if my body feels bad, I feel nice. So that is a consciousness. I have another consciousness. I learned something. I learned to discriminate between the material and the spiritual conscious. That what Krishna wants from us. No? That we learn to understand what is material, what is temporary. We have to analyze it. We have to see it really vividly with our eyes, and we learn who I am. In the beginning it is only a theoreticum. I am eternal, I am a spiritual soul. But by the praxis of devotional service, so that we can be engaged in such wonderful service, like even to serve the deities on the altar, or to prepare spiritual food to offer to the deities. That is the experience of I am eternal. So then we perceive this satisfaction by to do so. And the satisfaction is coming from within. It's not coming from without. Material satisfaction is always coming from outside. If you please somebody, he will pay you. Then you buy something for your body, to please your body. To eat something nice, to clothe your body, or so on. It's outwardly. But if you do devotional service in a temple for Krishna, or please devotees, or to be with devotees, you become satisfied from within. You feel the satisfaction is coming from in, like the heat of the body. Your inner, if you feed the stomach with food, your whole body is nourished. That is the sense. If you want to have a plant or a tree alive, you have to water the seed, the root, not the leaves. If you water only the leaves, maybe the tree will die. If you have a tree in the desert and you go every day to the leaves and make a little bit water on the leaves that the dust is out of it, the body will die. The tree will die. And that is the situation in the material world. If we only satisfy our outer body, our soul is suffering. We feel unhappy. Also, we have everything on the material platform. But inwardly, we are bereft of every good quality. Therefore, the conclusion is, Krishna says, Bhaktya mama vichanati yavanyas chasmi tatvata. Do devotional service. Act on a spiritual platform and understand your eternal identity. That is what I want to say to you today. Hare Krishna. So, maybe there are some questions or some comments or additionals.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So the spiritual and material energies are all produced by Lord Himself, right? And spiritual energy or spiritual body is better than the material. Then why there was a need for God to create this material energy and the material world?
Because there are so many living entities without good knowledge. Or another way you can say there are so many living entities which have lost their spiritual identity by developing material desires, separated from God. You can see this Krishna says, this creation is for some time manifested and for some time unmanifested. In the time of manifestation, like now, the living entities are getting the opportunity to enjoy their senses in this material world, from the higher planet to the lowest planet. It depends what you had already, what you just has done, and what is then your destination. So you are always, the living entities are always wandering. And if there is annihilation, if the material creation becomes annihilated, then everybody it's like to go in the freezer. Everybody comes freezed by his desires. It's a stock, and then for a time with is no manifestation, everybody goes back in the body of Mahavishnu in a sleeping stage. And then when there's again creation, The living entities start with those consciousness where they stopped. But the meaning of the material world is to become, how to say this in German or in English? Rehabilitiert. The meaning is a rehabilitation. And it is a didactic rehabilitation. Krishna gives knowledge to the living entities. But it is up to us to accept it. Therefore I said, what is most important is a goodwill. To show a goodwill for that what you have heard. And you have heard already many spiritual instructions which are very helpful for you. That you don't must come again in this material world in your next life. But unfortunately, often we cannot accept it due to an overwhelming manifestation of material desires in our heart. That is our misfortune. If we would not have material desires, there would be no need for material creation. Then we all can be all with the Lord eternally. It is up to us that we are here. Therefore, it is because you cannot be with Krishna and has material desires in an egoistic way. That's not possible. Therefore, we are here.
Prabhu, as an avid listener of your classes past few days, I've always heard this word goodwill. You're speaking a lot about goodwill.
I found it some days ago. I found this topic, and I said, "Wow, I never found this goodwill."
What does it mean?
Yeah, you have always the choice to accept something or don't accept something. No, you can always block. You can go to school and say, and the teacher is telling you a theory, and you say no. It's not my. No? So then, or you can go to school and just don't open your ears, no? And just no, I'm not interested. So when I tried it as a young boy, and I remember what my mother said to me, he said, "Just show goodwill." And I was thinking, what does it mean? Okay, yes, she is right. No? If I have a goodwill, I can. And it was especially for eating. She said, okay, show a goodwill and taste it. And then I tasted, oh yes, it is good. But if you don't taste it, so what you will experience? That means to show a goodwill. No? Just taste it. Try it, taste it, and then decide. Is it good or is it not good? That is what we offer in the Society of Krishna Consciousness. We offer a higher taste, a spiritual topic, spiritual knowledge about your real identity, and I say, show a goodwill, try it, and then decide. It's okay? It's okay?
What is the word in German? Guter Willen.
Einen guten Willen zeigen, ja. Guten Willen sein, kann man das philosophisch ausdrücken. Yes, German language, I can say, oh, please try German language. German language is the language of the philosophers. German language has 3 times more words than English. So, what? Yeah?
So we understand you can only know the taste of the pizza if you taste it.
Yes.
So therefore, so in Krishna Consciousness we say chant and eat prasadam and try it out and show the goodwill. But often what I observe is that we ourselves make our experience the goal in all. So we come to the temple or we hearing the philosophy and then we say, oh, I don't like it, I don't like that, and we are like the center of the universe. And so my question is like, we want to surrender. So we come here to the lecture, so after 5 minutes I can say, oh, I don't like this speech, I'm going out. So it's all about me. but how long we should try, how much we should give, that we really can. What is the mood? How we can experience this other consciousness, this higher taste? Like just once in the temple and I don't like it, and then I never try it again, or some thoughts?
No, the things is much more complexer. That's too easy. So I can tell it from my side. So there were devotees when I was young. I decided I don't want to hear from him. So how he is explaining the philosophy, it's not my point of understanding. So I refused. But other devotees, I was very much interested how they explained. They had another manner to explain the philosophy. Well, that can happen. But on the process by itself, to chant Hare Krishna and to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I never had doubts. So sometimes we should accept devotees, we always should respect devotees. That is okay. But it is not that we can accept from everybody everything. That may not work, because I have an ego, you have an ego, and other devotees have an ego too. And sometimes it is not at all compatible. We can try to live together in a peaceful way. So that's always good. No? But sometimes you cannot be friend with everybody, intimate friend with everybody. Or you have a special nature. Some can. Some people, some individuals, they are able to do. They are on a really high platform. They can laugh with everybody because they are freed from everything, from every false ego. But as long as you have a little bit with the false ego, so you have also protect yourself. That's also your duty, to protect yourself, that you can stand forever in Krishna consciousness. And therefore sometimes one is close to one person, otherwise maybe one hides a little bit. Is this the question what you was asking?
Yeah, it's a big topic.
It's a big topic, no?
It's a big, I just was...
One needs more time to discuss this. Yes.
If I can ask another question.
Yes.
Before Krishna Consciousness, I was very much into give up your ego, become one with everything, and then you are God, you are one with everything. And then later I was reading Bhagavad Gita and remembered we marked this sentence of Prabhupada that there is a real ego, the real self, and there's the false ego. So we have not to give up our real identity, our ego, but we have to give up the false ego. Can you maybe explain the difference between the false ego and the real ego?
The real ego is definitive, I'm an eternal servant, I'm an eternal part and parcel and servant of the Lord. No? To learn this by a spiritual master. No? Nitya Krishna Das, that is our identity. And the false ego is an identity which is somehow temporary. And this false identity goes in a certain way even until the Brahman realization. No? Here, it is in this last verse here, this said, Naveda Svam Gatim Brahman. So Krishna says, these persons are wandering, but they don't know what is their real goal. Now, the Brahman is the environment for everything, and Krishna is the person from whom the Brahman emanates. But in the Vedas it is always said, don't lose yourself in the Brahman, to be one with everything, because then you lose your personal qualities. And you have to go back, you have to still wander. And it said, if you are in the Brahman, you have to come back. Sometimes some yogis are proclaiming they are highly spiritual, they're doing so many good things, and they want to be Brahman realized. No? Especially I was reading, when I was young, I was reading Paramahansa Yogananda, ne? Adventure of a Yogi. And then first I was impressed. And later on, when I was in contact with Krishna Consciousness, I tried to read it again. And then I found the fold in this book. And so this yogi, this Paramahansa, he had a spiritual master, Sri Yukteswar. So, and in the end of this book, wie heißt das nochmal? Eines Yogi, ne? In the end, his spiritual master is appearing him in Jagannath Puri. There is no question, no speak of Lord Jagannath, of the temple or so on. So his spiritual master is appearing him in his... So Yogananda can perceive it, and then Yogananda is asking, where you are, Guru Maharaj? So and Sri Yukteswar is answering. And what he is answering, these are the heavenly planets in the material world. That is the description of. You can read this in Bhagavatam. It is identically what he's saying and what is standing in the Bhagavatam. How the life is. So they are going. So these yogis, they are not free. Even in the Paramatma realization, you are not free from the destinations in the material world. Only if you are self-realized as a Dasa Anudasa, in the guidance of your spiritual master, in the disciplic succession, you can go back home to Godhead. And otherwise you will stay in the material world, you are still, that's what Krishna says, this wandering to higher and lower destinations. That is ongoing. So that what we get, this gift, what we got from Srila Prabhupada, that is really extraordinary. To grasp this with our mind, that it is possible to come out of the spirit, possible to go out of the spiritual world, or out of the material world into the spiritual world.
Can I ask something? I was just wondering, we were speaking about the spiritual master, and it's, that we all need teachers, but then still it's a different kind of intensity if you accept somebody as your teacher for the whole lifetime. And I was just wondering if you can share a little bit. You have been initiated in 1989, so it's 35 years that you've been very intimately connected with your spiritual master. So what's your realization? How much, what's happened, and why should we do that? Why is it good?
Because we need guidance towards a world which we cannot perceive now. The spiritual world that we are praying in the morning to the Guru, Sri Radhika Madhava Yorapara. The spiritual master is assisting in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, in the kunjas of Vrindavan. He is an expert to do so, but we have no perception of this world. We need somebody who knows the way. We need somebody in the school. We need somebody who knows mathematics. To understand mathematics, and otherwise, how to understand mathematics? It's not possible. So, on the other hand, to have a spiritual master, that is also always a fight with your own ego. In a certain way, if you meet a spiritual master honestly and you was looking for him, you find somebody who is the right person, and you understand, okay, this is for the lifetime. But there are always difficulties, doubts in your mind, and then things you want to do so what your spiritual master wants from you, or you don't open your ears when he is speaking to you. No? Srila Prabhupada sometimes said, you cannot fulfill all the orders of your spiritual master what he was giving to you. That's not possible. But just try to fulfill what you have understand. It's always a try. Everything what we do in this lifetime, especially in spiritual things, is always a result of our goodwill. Yes, Guru Maharaj, I'm not qualified, but I want to surrender unto you. That is the attitude of a sincere disciple. It's okay? Hare Krishna. Vielen Dank für eure Aufmerksamkeit. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu ki
Srila
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Vrajendra Kumar Prabhu, for these very nice elaborations. Just 1 second before you all leave, so that we know what's going to happen afterwards. At 6:15 we will have a japa workshop inside here, where we can try out mantra meditation for our own on the japa malas. And then at 7 there's a Gora Arti, a temple ceremony here. And at 8 o'clock there will be more mantra singing, like we had before, from 3 to 4. And also I just wanted to make a little announcement. You will see outside there's a big vitrine, and we have many things going on, which is very nice. But one thing that I wanted to speak about is the Sankirtan Saturdays that have restarted. So every Saturday, devotees here from the Zurich temple, they go out on the streets and give out books, prasadam, and flyers to the people of the city. And it's a very nice endeavor to come together and in this way share spirituality, Krishna consciousness with others. As I think we all agree, it's very much needed. And we just invite everybody to join. It's a very wonderful experience to go together. It makes it much easier, and it's a lot of fun. So please think about it, and you can find all the infos outside. And next Saturday we will also go out again. So that's just from my side a little bit. And now I wish you. Oh yes, that's an important point. You know, after the festival is already before the festival. Yesterday we had Govardhan Puja, a lot of people came, a lot of devotees, and on Tuesday we'll have another festival. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he left this world in 1977 on this day. Meaning, how many years will it be? 47 years that Srila Prabhupada left this planet, and so we'll have a nice program. You'll find more infos also outside. This is on Tuesday. Please come if you can. It's a very beautiful event to just pay homage to such an incredible saint that has given us so much. Anything else? Did I miss anything more? Then please feel free to take prasadam, take a lot, and said akanta until here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tomorrow, yeah. All the best. Keep it up.
I have all upstairs anyway.